welcome to another exciting episode of AUPP Podcast. My name is Sonita and I will be your host today. The major chosen for today's episode is law, and once again, we will be answering many questions and exploring various aspects of law. But before we dig deeper into that, let's take a tiny step back to the first questions of the day, which is who is our special guest? Our special guest earned his Juris Doctor and Masters of Law in International Human Rights from Northwestern University School of Law. He also earned his Bachelor of Arts in Political Science from University of Washington. Without further ado, please welcome Professor Sothie. Good afternoon, Professor. How are you today?
Good afternoon. Thank you. I'm doing great. Thank you, Nita, and thank you, AUPP, for having me here. It's a pleasant day to be here.
During my time here at AUPP, when I was guiding students in the open house and the discovery day, a very common question that I got asked is, are there Cambodian professor here in AUPP? And I think that there's very few Cambodian professor here in AUPP, so it's a very special and a very fresh episode, and it's also my honor to have you on our show today. Therefore, may you further introduce yourself. I think I have give a short introduction on your educational background, so can you give a touch up on your professional background?
Absolutely. Well, first, I'd like to Jumyapsua everybody who's watching from home. As Nita mentioned, my name is Sothie. I am an adjunct law professor here at AUPP. I'm also working as a legal officer for the Civil Party Lead Co-Lawyer section at the Extraordinary Chambers in the Courts of Cambodia. Now, I know that can be a mouthful and a bit confusing as to what exactly it is I do. But basically, I'm a legal officer for the section at the ECCC, which is also known as the Khmer Rouge Tribunal. I'm a legal officer for the section that handles, that represents the civil parties. The civil parties are basically the victims of the Khmer Rouge regime. So just to give a little bit of background about the Khmer Rouge Tribunal is it's a very interesting court. It's a bit separate from our Cambodian courts. It's a bit special. It was established by the United Nations and the royal government of Cambodia. They came together and established this hybrid court to convict senior leaders of the Khmer Rouge and those who were most responsible. So sorry for the long answer, but essentially, I'm a legal officer for the section that represents basically the victims of the Khmer Rouge. With regard to my personal experience, my background, before I came to settle down in Cambodia, I was a public defender. A public defender is a criminal defense trial lawyer for the indigent, for those who cannot afford a lawyer. I had the privilege and honor to work as a public defender for the state of Colorado. And during law school, I had working experience at Human Rights Watch in New York, the International Criminal Court in The Hague, as well as a British law firm called Freshfields Brookhouse Derringer in their international arbitration practice.
Thank you very much. I think that your educational and professional backgrounds are very fascinating. Like, it's just in various sectors of law. So may I ask, why did you decide to teach law in AUPP?
Well, there's a lot of reasons. First, AUPP is known to be one of the finest and best universities in Cambodia. I very much enjoy my experience here so far. The students are great. They're smart. That's my first reason. My second reason is I was given the wonderful opportunity to teach subjects that I'm passionate about. And if if you look at my background, you can see that I've been involved a lot in things that deal with international law, international criminal law, international human rights law. And so I've had the fortunate opportunity here to teach those classes, including Southeast Asian law and legal systems, international law, and this semester I'm teaching international human rights law.
How has it been so far teaching that courses
It's
that
been
course?
it's been great. The students are smart. They a lot of the law students here at AUPP, they're part of this wonderful program, wonderful law program where they're able to, when they graduate, receive a bachelor's of law from AUPP and from the University of Arizona. And so that's also another reason why I chose to teach at AUPP. Because of this program, these law students, once they graduate, they have a path to obtaining a Juris Doctor from the University of Arizona, which is a very good law school in the United States. And I feel that there's not many Cambodians who have Juris Doctor degrees. And so AUPP provides this wonderful path for them. And, teaching these students have been a great experience.
I remember there was a post on Facebook asking to pick like your 5 most favorite course in college, and the first one on top of the list, surprisingly, was the introduction to law and legal system, which I took back in my first year here. That's just how much I'm interested in law, and I'm also planning to take a minor in law. So, for those people who are interested in law, like me, the first questions that we have in our mind is what kind of courses can we expect throughout, maybe for those who want to major in law in AUPP, what course are they going to study during their 4-year period here?
The law courses that AUPP provides is very diverse. You can take classes in intellectual property law, in my international law classes, international human rights law. I taught also Southeast Asia law and legal systems, which is more of a comparative law approach. There are also Cambodian law courses like Cambodian Civil Code, Cambodian Criminal Code, and Criminal Procedure as well. And so there are a wide range of courses, of law courses that you can take. And what's also special is that these law courses are designed both by AUPP, and there are law courses that are also designed by the University of Arizona.
You have mentioned earlier that you teach international human rights class. So when I told my friend that I will be doing the podcast for the law, this is a question that many of them are curious about. How do you like your students? How has it been teaching them, and what is the course like?
So the students have been great. The students have been great. Honestly speaking, the students have been great. They're very smart. They're very smart kids. And the way I teach is I really encourage participation. I don't care if the answer is wrong, right? Or you may think that the views or perspectives that you have is wrong, is bad, or anything like that. I encourage participation because I believe that's one of the best ways to learn law. And in our international human rights law class, it's small, and I think, and it's this is one of the good things about AUPP as well, is that the classes are small in design, so that the professors have time to spend more time with each student. More attention is given. And within my international human rights law class, because it's small, we're able to it's sort of a seminar. We're able to just discuss whatever topics that we're talking about that day. Everybody contributes, everybody expresses their opinions, and through this discussion, we learn.
I think that you have talked about how participation and teamwork and discussion are like the main theme of your class. So there might be students out there who are concerned because they are reluctant or they are shy. So I think many of the audience that watching AUPP podcast are high school students who haven't decided on their major yet. So on this note, can you tell us a bit about the common characteristic or who would fit in the law major?
Honestly, I think anybody can fit within the law major. The law major the law, the sector itself is looking for people from diverse backgrounds. Even if you're interested in science, right? You can become an intellectual property lawyer, who an intellectual property the intellectual property sector is always looking for lawyers who know science, who have a computer science, who has an engineering background, to contribute, right? And the thing with law is that once you study law, you don't have to become a lawyer either. Learning law provides you with important skills like especially critical thinking. A lot of people, after studying law, they don't work as lawyers. They go to NGOs. Those who study human rights law, some don't choose not to become human rights lawyers, but they choose to become human rights activists. Some go into politics or government. Some become public servants. Some start their own businesses. Some have a more entrepreneurial spirit, or some stay within the law but go into the corporate law sector. The thing with law is that it touches on a wide range of topics, subjects, and so I think it's open to everybody.
Law is very it's everywhere, you can say. And I think that it is a very interesting major, but it can also be quite challenging sometimes. There is a quote that I always bear in my mind, which is there is no elevator to success. We need to take the stair. So every major has its own difficult points and challenges. We have discussed about the common characteristic of students. So what are the primary or fundamental challenges that they might face when they enrolled in the law program?
Reading.
Reading.
There's a lot of reading. And I'd like to take this opportunity to tell my students who are watching right now to please read for class, because it's in the law major, there's a lot of reading and a lot of writing as well. And so that is something that you have to be willing to do if you want to take the major. Also, it's important, I think, not only as a law major, but in any type of study, to be genuinely curious, to be passionate about that topic, that subject, and be genuinely curious to learn more, to ask why, ask questions like why and how, in order to succeed in that area.
Um, it is true that not just with law, but with any major, you need to be genuinely curious, and you just excel better when you like the major that you're studying. And on that regard, if you like the major you're studying, then you're passionate, then you will be active not only in class but outside class as well. I remember that we have had a conversation about this back in 2019, where we had a brief encounter at another competition outside school. Those type of competition tend to be very beneficial for student. That was a debate competition, which I also learned a lot from it. And I think that on the law side, there are also many competition and many extracurricular activity out there that students should be encouraged to join. So can you tell us a bit about those kind of outside class activities that students should join?
Absolutely. Well, I think this qualifies as extracurricular, but internships, they
Okay.
are so important. I did a lot of internships when I was a law student, because they provide you with practical experience of what it means to be a lawyer or do whatever it is in that field that you want to that you want to work in after you graduate. And it allows you an opportunity as a student to explore different interests, to see if your plan goal, your planned job is how you envision it. So definitely internships. Aside from that, any type of extracurricular activities would be beneficial. I think AUPP provides Model United Nations, student government, all of those activities are very beneficial to the study of law.
Although I'm a business major, but from what I know about the competition in the law sector, the one of the most commonly known one is the moot court, because everyone is like participating in moot court. Many law majors that I know participated in moot court, and I think that you are leading a team in the moot court that is representing AUPP as well. So may you
Yes,
tell us how has it been so far? What have they been
absolutely.
doing?
I'm currently coaching AUPP's Jessup Moot Court team. So the Philip C. Jessup Moot Court competition is an international law moot court competition. Basically, it's as if you are appearing in front of the International Court of Justice at The Hague. So you have, a hypothetical factual situation where two countries get into a dispute, an international legal dispute, and so it's been very interesting and very fun for the students. I believe that through this moot court competition, they've learned a lot. They've learned how to write memorials, write briefs, make legal arguments through legal writing. And once that is done, they're about to, well, right now we're practicing, they're about to enter this next stage where it's oral.
Yeah.
So they're practicing oral arguments. So they have to figure out how to communicate their ideas, these difficult, complicated legal issues in a very succinct, direct, concise, and simplified manner that is easy to understand and gets your message across easily to the judges. And it's not an easy thing to do, but because it's hard, they're full of learning experiences. And so I like to also take this opportunity to say that if there are any potential AUPP students or current AUPP students who are interested in joining the Jessup team next year, let me know.
Okay. I hope everyone's watching this can hear this out and give it a try, because I think that it will be a very fruitful experience. On top of the outside curricular credits, so mostly it will be done during our time at school. So now we can take like a time machine to the future after we graduate. What kind of jobs or career opportunities are available for law major?
Variety. So if you are interested in, let's say, NGO work, law majors, people, law students who know, well, not students anymore, right? Law graduates are really looked for by NGOs. I provide some legal consulting for this regional NGO in Southeast Asia. They're always looking for smart law graduates to help them do legal research and legal writing and write about legal issues that are happening in the region. So NGOs is one. If you're more into corporate law, there are a few very good corporate law firms in Cambodia which you can join. You'll be dealing with IP law, intellectual property, transactions, mergers and acquisitions, and stuff like that. You can also become a trial lawyer and do litigation. You can go to court. You can deal with criminal issues. And, not many people may know this, but the public sector, the government sector, is really looking for smart law graduates. Cambodia is at an interesting point in time. It's developing. A lot of reforms are being passed. And so with reforms comes law, right? New laws have to be implemented. And so, there is, people are looking for human resources. So there's a lot of opportunities.
I think that from your answer, it clarifies the fact that if you graduate from law, you don't have to be a lawyer.
You don't have to.
It's not every law graduate gonna go to court and be a lawyer or a judge. There are so many various opportunity out there that that the market demand is just broader than just lawyers and court. But of course, you can also be in court as well. I totally agree that no matter how well designed the curriculum is, at the end of the day, it all comes back to yourself. It's like it's yourself and your motivation and passion and dedications in making self improvement and increasing your potential. So with that being said, we have covered many topics and questions, including the curriculum, the common characteristic, the challenges, the study tips, outside curricular activities, and of course, lastly, the career opportunity available. Therefore, the show is approaching the end. I would like to say thank you very much, Professor, for your time being here with us today. Your answers are very insightful. And if I am a high school student listening to this, I am very grateful because I now know better what I can expect from studying law and what I can expect when I graduate from studying law as well. So, to the audience, if you have any questions that weren't covered in today's episode, please feel free to drop your questions in the comment section below. If you are on Facebook, don't forget to like and share this video to your friends and family out there. If you are on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell to get the latest updates from us. AUPP Podcast is also available on Google and Apple Podcasts, so don't forget to check that out as well. Thank you for listening to AUPP Podcast, and thank you very much, Professor Sothie.
Thank you very much, Nita, and thank you, AUPP, for having me here. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Stay tuned for our next exciting episode. Goodbye.